There is nothing wrong with your radio.
Do not attempt to adjust the volume.
We are controlling the broadcast.
For the next hour we will control all that you hear.
You are about to experience the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
Hey, you're listening to Media Mothership here on Edge Radio 99.3 FM. This is your host, Craig, joined by co-host Zeke.
Yo.
Do let us know on the various forms of communication coming into the station if there's any issues with our audio, particularly on the YouTube and Twitch stream. I'm never convinced that the OBS system is working as it seems to be working fine.
The picture looks clear.
The audio. Anyway, you can chat online via the YouTube or Twitch chat. You can find us by just looking for Media Mothership. You can also SMS us directly in the studio, 0488811707. As always, this show is broadcasting live out of the Edge Radio studios in Nipaluna, Hobart, Tasmania. And these days I've been getting my act together slightly and putting show notes up on the Media Mothership website. So
that's right,
Zeke,
yeah.
You know, if you want to follow along at home, you can just go directly to mediamothership.au. Go Aussie. That's HTTP.
Mediamothership.com.au.
.com.au, or is it just .au?
It's,
but yeah, you can find us there. Latest episode 154 show notes are up. Basically, today's going to be a analysis of
maybe it is .au.
news and media topics that have come across my desk over the last week. This show, Media Mothership, basically explores how media shapes our understanding of the world around us, drawing upon my over 20 years of media research, analysis, and recently independent scholarship, as well as my co-host Zeke's Bachelor of Arts.
Bachelor of Communication.
In communication, majoring in
journalism.
So combining our talents together to make sense of the exciting world around us in media. All right. First article that I would like to explore is this one coming out of PC magazine. I guess the one thing to say about this is the headline, the dead internet is here, bot traffic tops human traffic for the first time, subtitled, "Welp, that happened faster than I predicted," says Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince. This article basically is for the first time, the moment in time we're living right now, first time in history, bots now generate more than half of all internet traffic, overtaking human users according to a new report from Cloudflare. This shift was driven largely by the rapid surge of AI agents that scrape data, compare prices, and read content, accelerating a trend Cloudflare's CEO thought wouldn't hit us until 2027. Tipping point. So I guess 3 key points from this article at PC Mag. The tipping point was June 5th. Where were you, Zeke, on June 5th? You clearly weren't on the internet.
June 5th.
It was just bots.
June
5th.
I don't know, what day was June 5th?
It was the day that the AI overtook humans, right? That's
true.
what it should be on the calendar.
That's true. But was it a Monday? A Tuesday?
If it was a Sunday, that's always a dip day.
Was it the 5th, you say?
The 5th. June 5th.
Oh,
bots.
It was on a Friday.
Well, people probably were actually getting out in the world around us.
I think I was actually probably out.
Well, see, you weren't helping prevent.
I need to be online searching, Googling.
Price checking.
Yeah, price checking. Yeah.
So on June 5th, bots accounted for 57% of the global web traffic, meaning humans are now the minority online. Right, we've got Jen commentator. Hey, Jen, on the chat, joining us. Zeke, what's Jen's message there? You've got to...
She said, I don't know if you're live, but this topic is terrifying. And yeah, basically just AI taking over.
Right, yes, the internet used to be, Jen says, the internet used to be a wholesome landscape of sharing info and making friends. We need a new internet free of corporations. Interestingly, a series I watched recently, finally to completion, was Silicon Valley. It was, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I think it came on a streaming station.
Is that like the sitcom or something?
Yeah, sitcom. Basically, it's about a startup company in Silicon. It's satirizing the Silicon Valley startup environment. But their whole pitch was Pied Piper, which is a new internet algorithm that would escape Web 0.1, right? It would be a much more user-generated, non-corporatized, non-Google-fied basic DNA of the internet, which is, we seem to have strayed so far from it. So the interesting thing about where this tipping point happened, as the article talks about, was that it wasn't just the fact that you've got that typical bot spam behavior, right, which used to account for a lot of the kind of non-human traffic, which was just spam being sent via emails and so forth, that old school spam environment. But these days it's what's referred to as agentic, agency-based, so agentic AI. These are tools that are performing complex tasks like reading Wikipedia and booking travel that caused the spike. Mm-hmm. So it's the proliferation of all those searches we're doing or instructions we're giving on various large learning module systems.
Yeah, it's like ChatGPT, which is kind of funny because in a way, if you go into ChatGPT, I suppose, and type in what should my itinerary be for, my trip to Indonesia or something.
Good choice.
Thank you. Or Vietnam, your other
that's right, your
large
other
listener base
budget option.
And then it gives you all this stuff which you may have taken the time to go through. It's just making all those searches for you, but obviously it's the AI doing it rather than you. So you sort of still are doing it, but not really.
Well, I guess the thing it's measuring is the fact that the actual kind of going to a website, so the URL action is coming from the bots. It's coming from the software. It's not coming from human agency. It's not like we're typing in, Travel Advisor or something, or going to a Google search and then clicking on the Travel Advisor website. This is all automated, non-human agency-based web trafficking, which is now 57% of what's happening. A surprising detail from the article was that the shift didn't just happen gradually, which is where the Cloudflare guy is saying that he'd put it out until 2027 or late 2027, so like a year and a half away. And his assumption was it was going to be more gradual because of that, but it's suddenly come this year, nearly 2 years early, because it suddenly bumped through that 50% threshold through the use of AI, and we've been sitting on so Cloudflare reports that once bots cross the 50% threshold, they stayed there. So again, that percentage going into 57%, and the trend has continued upwards without a single human win since the inflection point. So since the 5th of June, there hasn't been like a dip. There hasn't been that graph where it's like price spikes going all over the place. Humans have not won to have more agency online since June 5th. So it's just been a consistent 57% plus non-human based internet space. It's interesting. I don't know if over half the comments. I mean, this is the kind of catastrophizing narrative of it. That it's one thing if it's searching for prices and so forth, or comparing stats on phones. It's another thing if it's the comments on Reddit, which are bots.
Yeah.
Right. If it's the movie review.
Well, interesting scenario. It's a little bit different than this because this is obviously like, bots searching online, etc. But I feel like X, formerly known as Twitter, every time that I go on there, which is not frequently, but it just seems like most people are not real on Twitter. It just feels like, or X, just feels like it's sort of a bot landscape now where you go in there and a lot of posts are just about sort of rage baiting and like all this sort of stuff to try and get clicks, views or whatever else. But it's not somebody really writing it. It's just like they've set up probably a bot or something to just like make all of this stuff and just...
Well, I guess that's the panic that's in some of the commentary, that how do we know there are humans creating this content, right? And statistically, if over half the traffic occurring on the internet is now not human-to-human interaction but machine-to-machine interaction, it raises some profound questions, as well as maybe inevitably some questions around how some of the internet's just going to be machine-to-machine operating increasingly. And the human-to-human operating might become more ghettoized, or there are websites specifically for humans
Yeah.
that are being helped, with human music playing as opposed to the the non-human music. I don't know. But yes, so there we go. We've passed that threshold. Meanwhile, we'll be right back. Following up on that point, second really interesting bit of news, I came across this as one from abc.net.au. Headline is Predictive Text in Demonstrable Decline. Demonstrable decline with introduction of AI-based language models. You might think your phone, particularly your phone, is auto-correcting and being a helpful editor, but it seems since the AI takeover, now at 57%, it's like a slowly forgetting how to spell right simultaneously, right? So
that's happened, like, I feel like, for quite a while, because autocorrect and stuff like that has been around for quite a while, and a lot of people just go like, tap, 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 tap. They don't care about the spelling because like, autocorrect will get it.
Yeah. So this is partially anecdotal evidence coming out of, the article quotes a Queensland Business School senior lecturer, Mortiza Namvar, talking about this concern, as well as a PhD student, Leon Furze, who's looking at the implications of artificial intelligence on writing in education. But the brief summary of the article basically is that anecdotally many smartphone users are reporting that predictive text and autocorrecting have become significantly less accurate since tech giants like Apple and Samsung have begun integrating generative AI models. So this is from around 2023. They're saying that users are noticing a noticeable drop-off in the quality of predictive text and autocorrecting. And that they're saying that while these new AI systems that are generating content are offering better contextual understanding, they have introduced more frequent nonsensical errors and a tendency, and I think this is the really important point of the article, a tendency to learn user typos, leading to a perceived drop in reliability compared to older statistical models. So again, we're looking at two shifts. One was the June 5th, 57%. First time there's more non-humans on the internet than humans. Now they're pointing to another shift that occurred a few years ago, 2023, which we're only seeing the impacts of now, where in 2023, many phone companies shifted from stable deterministic statistical models to do predictive text and autocorrecting to what's referred to as a transformer AI model, so these are similar to ChatGPT, that predict next words.
Yeah.
And that since 2023, people have noticed more and more just a drop in quality. more nonsense coming into the text they're typing, because they're finding this glitch. And basically the glitch is that instead of just fixing errors like the old system, pre-2023 autocorrect system, the new AI is learning from the user usage data. So as you're making mistakes, typing your messages in, it's learning from those mistakes and incorporating them in content to repeat itself. So it's actually taking your misspelling or your moments where you don't go back and correct things as the way to communicate best for your user experience. So in many cases, some users are pointing out that it's swapping correct words now for nonsense words that have been based on previous mistakes that have been made from the user, changing to into Tondel or Teresa. Have you had any Teresas pop up in your messages?
Teresa,
Yes.
3, 4.
I went Teresa jail. So the fix, again, as AI companies are aware of this, or phone manufacturers are aware of this, or attempting to fix it, Apple released iOS 26.4 in March 2026, specifically to address these keyboard accuracy issues, while Samsung and Google are also rolling out their new patches specifically about this drop in quality. Yeah. Have you noticed drop in quality of your predictive texts? I mean, I feel like
I don't really use predictive text.
Right.
Yeah, I prefer to not have it. I find it annoying.
Typing a letter and then seeing it. We should test it. Let's see. You can only type one letter and take from that the choices, and then we'll see what message you create by the end of the show. Surprising detail is that the article noted that the new AI doesn't just guess wrong; it's actively learning from your mistakes. Right? I love that twist in the story. So if you consistently type a specific word wrongly, like T-H-E-I-R instead of T-H-E-R-E, there, the system's just going to adopt that.
There.
there. As part of the kind of personal dictionary it's creating for you, and continue correcting the right word for the wrong one all the time. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, certainly there's been moments where it's only after I've sent the message that I've become frustrated by realizing that the phone auto-corrected something in that message that I didn't double check, and now it's out there, that incorrect version. And it does feel like you're fighting the machine sometimes, and particularly, I guess that's what the article's talking about, that frustration of
rage against the machine.
Rage against the machine. If I could play that, I would, but it would mute my YouTube, so we won't.
We won't. Just play it in your mind.
That's right. Newt will save us.
Copyright strike.
No, not the copyright hammer. Another AI story. I think this is my triptych. I think there's just 3 AI stories I've
Welcome
done
to
up.
AI Mothership.
That's right. This one's out of Gizmodo. Headline is The Pope's AI warning could help workers seek religious exemptions from using AI.
Hey.
So we reported on the Pope's...
It's a recruitment tactic.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this was his encyclical. So this was the Magnifica Humanatus.
This is when he quoted Gandalf.
That's right. Yeah. He quoted Gandalf. Since that encyclical, one of the unusual spin-offs has been cases of people looking for religious exemption from using AI.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I mean, again, those 2 stories we just heard, one with the bots taking over the traffic on the internet, and the second one with autocorrection plummeting in quality. It does feel we're racing towards automation and AI, and the appeal, I think, of an article like this is how radical it seems in terms of, like, a radical act today is the act of resistance today is workers picking up a pen and doing work rather than using the AI.
Being like, I want to actually write a sentence.
Yes.
Yep.
And telling your employer, I'm not doing my work on the computer, but instead with a pen and paper. I mean, Quentin Tarantino famously writes his work with pen and paper. He writes his scripts out with pen and paper. He doesn't use a computer. He sees that physical, laborious act of writing as part of the creative process. So there are creatives. There are people that do print out and check and use that. It's interesting though where that can be a religious conviction. It seems where you can tell your employer that by my religious convictions, I will not use your algorithm. I'm going to either use my dumb computer or.
What's interesting that it's a bit you can seek. There's people seeking religious reasons for it, exemptions for it, and that seems completely fine. That seems great. You've got the Pope. If you are a part of what is it, Catholicism?
I guess this case was specifically a Unitarian Universalist.
Oh right, okay. So not even okay. Because I was going to say you have a great case. To be like, well, the Pope came out and said this, so but it's interesting that you can't necessarily. I mean, I guess you can, but it would be harder for you to go up to your boss or something and be like, I have a moral, ethical problem with using this in the workplace, and they'd be like, no. But then, the other alternative is you could just say, well, I'm Christian, so I don't want to use AI.
Yeah,
the Pope said no.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because obviously this is through the Catholic denomination, so it'd be interesting because the article, the case that it's pointing to in the article is I'm not familiar with Unitarian Universalists, but
no, neither am I.
He's part of the Unitarian Universalist movement. He's a software engineer as well, or they're a software engineer in North Carolina, and they successfully secured a religious exemption to write and review code by hand. So what they're doing is they're reviewing the code by hand.
That is gross.
And the reason they were able to do that was by citing ethical and environmental concerns about AI. And this is, of course, in the US. So the legal backing behind this is the 1964, under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act in 1964 in the US. Employers must make reasonable accommodations for sincerely held religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Unless it causes undue hardship. Standards courts are generally unless it causes undue hardships, standard courts are generally hesitant to challenge. So the papal arguments, the Pope's statement was, of course, this 43,000 word document which framed AI adoption as potentially dehumanizing and warns against the idolatry of profit, giving religious workers. And so the idea is that the Pope's encyclical, Magnificat Humanitas, will potentially, because it flags the dehumanizing effect of this AI technology and the idolatry of profit that underpins it, potentially could give religious workers a stronger theological roadmap to refuse mandatory AI use.
Which is interesting. Again, I wonder, because you have to take this through court, obviously, get a religious exemption.
Well, I guess, if your employer doesn't want to do it.
Unless they grant it, I guess, without whatever. But theoretically, you probably have to take it to court regardless. But it's interesting. I wonder, you could get a religious exemption, but I wonder, is that easier? Which the religious exemption could essentially be my religion ethically and morally is against this. But then I wonder if it would be harder for you to say, well, personally, I have an ethical, moral objection. Would that be harder because it's not a religious belief, it's not a religious exemption, it's more of a moral, ethical thing. But obviously religion, most of that is actually just
if
moral,
you could do it in
and
a
ethical.
secular.
Yeah. So
look, and I think one of the interesting details from this is in the article, the software engineer themselves who got the exemption admits it sounds crazy to have achieved this. And to be writing and reviewing code entirely by hand in 2026. Yet the software engineer notes that was just how the job was done 2 years ago before AI augmentation and integration became the norm.
All right.
So I don't know. Are there any coders out there?
Really? 2 years ago, they were
by hand?
They were writing by hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just type it on a computer and then look at it and go.
I think it will
"That's
always
right."
have some computer component because
Yeah.
it is code.
Well, that's the thing. You at least need to write. So in this instance, you write it, you review it on a piece of paper, and then you then open up your console or whatever on the computer, and then you go and you type that exactly, and then go, oh, there it is.
Yeah, very troubling. I mean, it is interesting if your company mandated a tool you believed was ethically or spiritually harmful, would you have the courage to request an exemption, right? Or do you think the pressure to adopt the AI is just too high to say no? How do you feel? Do you
I feel like I would also. Well, I guess that's part of the religious exemption. Is it like, I don't know, I just like, you don't want to then be fired or something because you're like, oh, I don't want to use AI.
Well,
And they're like, we'll get somebody who does want to use AI.
Exactly. You'll be replaced, right?
But I guess you could then go, well, that's religious discrimination or, or just discrimination. And,
well, that's isn't that the plot of Battlestar Galactica? Certainly the second season. If you bear with me here, the whole idea was that the Battlestar Galactica, of course, dystopic science fiction series. The first series came out late 70s. Then it was revised, relaunched in the 2000s. And their vision was the only reason the Battlestar Galactica survived the destruction of humanity from the Cylon AI or Cylon robot forces was because their technology, they still used kind of pre-computer augmentation technology. They didn't have any network system on their Battlestar, and it was still old-fashioned telephones and so forth communicating, and that's how... So, you want one of those Battlestar Galactica people in your company.
That's right.
In fact, I've put Battlestar Galactica as a reference on my CV.
I request a religious exemption under Battlestar
Galactica. I am a fan. Yeah, fan exemption. There we go. SMSN now if you've got any stories of using Battlestar Galactica fandom as your, to avoid your pressure to use dehumanizing idolatry. Interesting, Battlestar Galactica was created by a Mormon creator. Right, the showrunner, the creative, the original 1970s version.
There you go. Well, religious exemption under Mormonism, and then say, well, a notable Mormon created Battlestar Galactica.
Religious
that has AI.
It's not too far away from Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard, science fiction author.
Yeah, there you go.
I think we're not making a utopia. I think this is more dystopic with this vision. All right. Well, we've talked a little bit about Lord of the Rings. Of course, we had the article of the Pope referring to Gandalf in the encyclical they wrote. A few episodes ago, we also talked about how many Silicon Valley companies use Lord of the Rings objects, artifacts, and terms for their company names.
Yep.
What's the name of the company that uses the orb of seeing? The Peloton? I think that's
the orb of seeing.
The orb of seeing. I think it's referred to as the Peloton, right? SMS and now if you're an orb of seeing user.
SMS.
Because we're not clearly don't have the seeing. But anyway, so there's a long established usage of that. It's an interesting article out of Kotaku. Basically, the reason I'm curious about this article headlined, I wish big corporations would leave the Lord of the Rings alone already. It raises an interesting question around when it becomes, overly exhausted, right? When you turn around, you're always seeing more and more things that are using Frodo or hobbits or referencing Lord of the Rings. Does it get to an exhaustion point? Author expressing frustration over Amazon, which currently holds the rights. Tons of projects, but many of them have fallen over. This was a huge now.
Interesting. I was surprised that
because the sense is
I can understand a TV show that you weren't sure of. In case who will be there.
Grogu, and many people were pointing out the fact that Star Wars movie struggled to do well.
Yeah.
And was...
I didn't realize it came out.
It kind of disappeared, right? It had one decent week. It never broke, I think, number one. I think Obsession. And again, two MA-15 plus horror films, really quirky, really innovative, were the ones getting it. And again, that's that idea that, if you put more money into it, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do any better.
You're doing good, lad.
Yeah, you're listening to Edge Radio. This is Media Mothership, and we're doing really good. We're doing as good as we can.
That's right.
Well, we're on popular culture. So moving from Lord of the Rings now to an article in Eurogamer. Headline is Citizen Sleeper creators' new game is a fungal punk RPG in which you're a parasite infecting the lives of people in a city inspired by a post-punk Britain. So I think it's interesting. I mean, imagine you're in a game where the protagonist isn't a hero you're going to be rooting for, but you're a fungus.
Yeah.
You're a fungus that you're just trying to survive. This is what the creator of this new game, Citizen Sleeper, is doing with their RPG, where you're infecting people and then given moments to change their behavior. The hook for me, the real hook for me, was fungal punk. Fungal punk. We had cyberpunk. Well, we had punk in the 70s. Then we had cyberpunk, 90s or 80s to 90s. Then with Last of Us, right, the video game and TV show about fungal infections coming into human bodies. I've not come across this term before, fungal punk, but I love it. Right? It's and we've got steampunk, of course, people that dress up in futuristic 18th century
Victorian,
clothing.
sort of, and then
Tsarpunk. If you do like a Russian spin on it,
version,
Tsarpunk.
Fair enough.
And fungal punk. Yep. So again, the vibe of this is that you're in a post-punk Britain. I don't know if that's after the Sex Pistols or something, but it's going to have a lot of body horror within it, and the aesthetics is monochrome with half-tone mashups and dirty industrial building. It looks like a really interesting concept. And certainly the most jarring twist is that you're not the hero saving the world. You're the infection. I like the idea that you're playing as the infection, the monstrous object, but you're not necessarily, like Dead by Daylight or something, a stalker killing people menacingly. The game's
you're just a fungus trying to survive.
Yeah. It's asking players to find some humanity and agency while acting as a biological parasite, controlling the lives of others in a city where fungal systems are quietly connecting everything.
It looks kind of interesting. It's got an interesting art style.
Yeah. Again, talking about, it's a kind of indie vibe to it. What do you think, Zeke? If you were inside someone's head, right, if you're able to fungally infect someone and get into their mind and trying to change their fate, would you try to save them from the chaos you saw around them, or would you push them to the brink?
Nah, push them in.
see what grows with the collapse. You'd be
that's right.
Not the good angel.
What fungus, spores from the...
It isn't. So it's got a bit of body horror to it.
Yep.
Which is always interesting. Got around to seeing the movie Substance recently, which has Demi Moore in it, where...
Still haven't seen it. I want to see it.
It's got some good body horror to it.
I can never... every time I remember, I've got to then find where it is on streaming and then see if I actually have access to that.
Yeah, trying some new
That's a good one.
little ones. That's a short guitar clip.
Yeah, you should have like an alien abduction noise or something.
I should, yes. Because it would actually tie in nicely to the next article. Steven Spielberg proves he's a relatable king.
A relatable king.
Relatable king. This is in Games Radar. This is the headline. Steven Spielberg proves he's a relatable king as the legendary director admits he wrote the Disclosure Day story on the Notes app on his iPad. Just using the Notes app.
Nothing wrong with that, is there?
Well, I think it's interesting when a super professional uses the most banal and basic of consumer technology to do something with.
But I mean, it's like Word. I mean, like he could have done it on Word or something or whatever. People might have thought that's better.
That would have involved predictive text,
and
autocorrect.
That's true. But then also, I would say Word falls into the same sort of.
Well, interestingly,
as Notes.
The thing about this is I love collecting these stories. So George R. R. Martin, author of Game of Thrones and tons of other big stories, famous for preferring to write all of his stories on like WordStar 4.0, right? This forgotten
He's got
a software.
I'm pretty sure he's got like a really old computer.
Yeah, that
because
runs
obviously it doesn't.
thing.
The newer ones won't run the.
And he writes, specifically because it doesn't have distractions. It's not hooked up to anything. It's not part of a kind of spell check, informative text thing or anything, or a social media
It's just
feed.
a page, and then you're right. Yep.
William Gibson, the famous author of the Cyberpunk series in the 90s, used a typewriter to do most of his work. I mean, he was writing in the 90s, but still, there were computers there. Quentin Tarantino handwrites scripts, and Steven Spielberg. So this was he was interviewed recently, and he was saying he wrote the first 50 to 60 pages of the story in the standard iPad Notes app during the summer of 2023. He then printed it out, corrected it, then went back to the Notes app to make the corrections. I think it's a heartwarming story. You don't need to buy the latest. AI generated informed text thing, Notes apps.
Just get the Notes app. Get your iPad. Get your now. What kind of iPad did he have? That's the other question. Did he have like the $10,000?
I don't think that's the lead.
Well, I'm just saying
right.
The user experience on the the iPad 24 might be better than.
I take your point. He could have done it with some pencil thing.
He might have had. So he says he uses the Notes app, but what he means is he's got his little iPad handwriting thing, and he's doing that.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say the same app I use for my grocery list is the one that Steven Spielberg wrote Disclosure Day on. In a surprising way. My iPad.
You basically wrote Disclosure Day. So
it's on the CV.
It's the same thing.
It's on the CV.
Yep.
I mean, you can't. Well, I was going to say you can't approve it.
Ghost Rider for Disclosure Day.
Approve it. What do you think? If the most famous director on the planet can write a blockbuster idea from a simple, Notes app, what brilliant stories are we ignoring? Because we think we need the perfect setup to start, right? I mean, it's that kind of perfectionism
that's
where you push back and say, no, I can't do this yet because I need the perfect program.
Because there's a lot of, it's very interesting because there's a lot, like Notes, there's a lot of systems that are out there, software that's out there that sort of goes into this realm of what's, like a second brain, basically. And it's just a system where you can categorize things, you can write things, basically just a Notes app. But like it's got great sorting for so you can find things easily. You can just open it up, write something, blah, 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 go back to it, have all these project pages and all this sort of stuff.
Yes.
And interestingly, I've watched a few videos and stuff about it, and they're like, so there's this app and that app and blah, 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 blah. It's got, some of them have premium features, you have to pay, da, da, da. And they're like, but if you don't want to bother with any of those, you can just use the Notes app. Because it works the same thing. It's the same sort of software.
Yeah, look, and I think some of the advertising around... Do you want to be a better writer? Do you want to be more productive? Which are selling you all these features, all these expensive, high quality, industry level things. Maybe about chasing a kind of perfectionism, chasing a kind of avoidance of actually doing the work, getting started, right? Better to do 20 minutes of actual work, even if it's on the Notes app on an iPad, than, oh no, I need to install the latest software. I need to do a quick Google search or ChatGPT comparison between these word processors to feel like I'm ready. And then, 2 hours have gone by.
Yep.
I guess I'll have tea now and circle back.
And it's there. It's already on. You can't get rid of the Notes app if you have a Mac thing. And as long as it's all synced, you can search a phrase and the thing that you want will come up. So it works.
Indeed. Yeah, old classic there. Last story for today. Games Radar, another piece out of Games Radar. Blizzard have just released fresh statistics from Diablo 4, Lord of Hatred, revealing that players have slain 392 billion monsters, and Mephisto himself was killed over 700,000 times. So this is the video game Diablo 4. Now, the interesting thing about this was that the expansion's 2 new classes, Warlock and Paladin, there's a clear favorite that's gets shown in this. Now, my feeling at first...
It's obviously Paladin.
Well, this is my feeling. Like, a lot of the research I've looked at has said that most gamers will pivot towards the good character, right? They'll play the at least not the evil character, at least not for a first play, maybe a second or third play. But it's the Warlock. I think it is a bit misleading though, because it's not that the Warlock is evil, but the Warlock, in terms of user player base, is twice as popular as Paladins. But I mean, I don't play it, but from what I was looking at, it kind of felt like the Warlock's kind of like Batman. Right, he's a bit of a cool character, a bit of an anti-hero character.
It could be
not that is
could
evil.
be OP as well. Is
Yeah,
like the other
could
thing.
have some meta.
And it's like I feel like always
Min-max.
magical, like literal sorcerers and stuff are always more popular than traditional sword characters and stuff like that. It's like everyone wants to be able to cast your fireballs or what is it? The Lovecraft. What's that?
Cthulhu?
There's like a beam or whatever, what's that, like classic attack in D&D or whatever, it's like a...
Fireball? Magic arrow.
No, it's named after like a Lovecraftian
Magic
thing,
missile.
but I can't remember what it is now. So it's like some sort of Lovecraftian beam or whatever. But
SNS.
anyway, usually warlocks have it, and then they just like spam it, just a massive laser beam, and you just... Yeah.
Magic missile.
And people,
Magic
that one as
missile.
well, yeah. But people just love having those and just spamming and just doing that. I reckon that's probably part of it.
It could be the mechanic. I mean, the article goes on to talk about how, despite the Warlock's flashy look and complex gameplay, the article's authors instead actually does prefer the Paladin's passive click-heavy playstyle, noting they're in the minority. But it does feel like, click-heavy playstyle. This hints at a deeper divide between players who love build crafting and those who just want to mindlessly click baddies to death.
Yeah.
Build crafting. So there you go. That's the latest Diablo game with people playing the Warlock more than the Paladin.
The only thing I've heard about the latest Diablo game is that a lot of people don't like it. So,
Really?
yeah.
Really? All right. Well, that's we'll play. Yeah. Okay. It's been Media Mothership for another week. We're wrapping up a little early because it's Dark Mofo here in Tasmania. And I'm going to check out. There's the
Spirit of Tasmania.
because I was reading an article and they were saying it's a bit like some of these video games like Control.
Oh, yeah?
Where you're in these kind of dystopic type of built infrastructure that is dark. So
Yes.
we'll see. But before we end, I just want to start sowing the seeds for a new project, spin-off projects we might be doing during a lunch schedule. I might bring it into Media Mothership. But basically it's going to be a...
AI Craig, no.
It's going to be a kind of simulator show. So yeah, in a way, AI, where we're thinking of combining two of the great things in, I guess,
The world.
identity trucks and radio DJs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm always fascinated by this since reading articles. So, for instance, with the fungal punk thing, there was an article in Time magazine a decade or so ago where they got their war photographer to go into the Last of Us video game.
Oh, that's right. I remember this. Yeah.
And do a photojournalism account as if they were a war correspondent in the Last of Us video game. On Reddit, I noticed in the DayZ video game space, someone was offering their services as a war photographer. They'd come in, do war photography with them. People have played GTA as tourists. Right? You just walk around the city and you record your walking as you would for a tourist with a GoPro camera. Or they'll play GTA according to the road rules.
Be a vlogger. Hey guys, I'm in San Andreas.
Wedding photographers have used Uncharted to seal their wedding photography gear. They'll do these screen captures of Uncharted. So what we're going to be doing is we're thinking at this point Euro Truck Simulator and doing radio hosting within the Euro Truck game system. So again, a little teaser. And again, Zeke, we've got to thank you for, or blame you.
Hey, you can have it. You can have this idea.
Blame you.
It's all you.
For doing, an upcoming show, technology. And again, we're going to, see how that works. So again, a little teaser there for future excitement. Keep listening, however, to Edge Radio. Kiz has got her show at
Tapestry.
5:30, Tapestry.
5:30, yep.
So listen into that. And if you have any questions about Edge Radio or Media Mothership, you can find out more at
MediaMothership.au. No. Go to edgeradio.org.au.
Check out our socials on YouTube and Instagram. You can find more at Edge Radio as well as Media Mothership. Thanks, Zeke.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks for our listeners. Thanks, Jen, for posting some...
That's right. Is she even listening now? Who knows?
Of course. Of course.